I'm here at Monteith Lumber, and I'm picking the lumber for a round tabletop. This is quarter sawn white oak, and you can see all the flecking. I don't want that because it's going to be hard for grain matching. So what I'm looking for is what's called rift sawn, and you can see it's just a nice straight grain, and that should make matching the grain for the tabletop much easier. So here's quarter and here's rift. These boards are rough sawn, and they're a little narrow. There's a few thicker ones at the bottom here, I should say wider. And Ed and Ryan are going to move the pile and run some of those boards through the thickness planer, and we'll take a look at those too. Okay, so now we're down to some of the wider boards, and they're going to take these over there and run them through the mill, bring them down to 5/4.
Test these 5/4 rift white oak boards to see what they look like.
Just came out of the planer, and you can see it's a beautiful rift sawn, and so that's going to be much easier to grain match than a quarter sawn oak. All right, just picked up the material. I'm all loaded up, got my flag here, and now it's time to get back to the shop. Picking the lumber for a project is probably the most important part of a project, and definitely one of the first steps. So I thought I'd take you along for the ride. That first board, the Bubinga board, I didn't buy that board, but I just wanted to show you because it was a beautiful board and definitely tempting, but it was also expensive, and I don't have a project for it, and I don't have any space in the shop for it. But one of those really nice boards that kind of gets your mind thinking about designs immediately. After I loaded the truck, I got back to the shop here. First thing I did was unload, cross-cut the boards to a rough length. I put a straight edge with the jointer on one side, and then used the table saw to put a straight edge on the other side. I'm in the midst now of trying to get the best grain matching or grain arrangement that I can. It's not going to be perfect because white oak is pretty hard to grain match, but I think with the rift sawn, it's going to be much easier than quarter sawn. Another reason why I didn't want to use quarter sawn is, as much as I like it, it has a very sort of definite look, and I thought it might be distracting for this design. I do have some quarter sawn material that I'm using in the legs, but for the top, I just wanted the long, straight grain. Also, the long, straight grain of the rift sawn is a tighter grain, and I wanted a tighter grain for the top of this table. A few things you want to think about when you're going to the lumberyard because it is a pretty big time investment, at least for me. Where I buy my lumber, for the most part, at Monteith Lumber, is 35 minutes away. So it's 35 minutes there, 35 minutes back, and then as much time as it takes to get the material that I want for the project. So whenever I'm going to the lumberyard, I've got a pencil, I've got something to write on, I've got a pair of work gloves. And another thing I like to do, I didn't do this time, is to go on Saturday mornings, because where I buy lumber, the mill isn't running on Saturday mornings, so it's much quieter and there's not as many customers, so it's just a little bit easier to think. I went during the middle of the week this time because I had to run some boards through the planer and I needed the mill to be in operation. So that's what's going on. This project should be done in about 2 weeks. This is the round table, very sculptural piece. I'm pretty excited about it. And on other news, if you're interested in the beekeeping, I don't really post videos on YouTube any longer, but we've had a pretty amazing harvest, almost 500 pounds. And we're in the middle of the harvest now. We'll be spinning the honey later today. And I'll be posting a video on HGTV, so that's Instagram TV. And that will go up probably Monday or Tuesday, and it will be 4 or 5 minutes long, and it'll just take you through the whole honey harvest. So that's all for now. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Before you start your next project, click on the link in the description for my professional woodworking plans, and follow me on Instagram to see this year's record-breaking honey harvest.